I want you all to just close your eyes gently and just take my lead as I help you visualize a necklace with various jewels. Each of these jewels has a different color, and each of these jewels has a specific purpose that it has to it. And I want you to just keep. Okay, I want you all to visualize a necklace with a silver string with multiple jewels to it. Each of these jewels has a significant color and a very, very specific purpose. And now I want you to gently open your eyes. This is Namrata Jain, and I'm a psychologist and a wellness coach and the founder of Out Aloud. And here's my story from darkness to light. This was in 2020. One of the days where the clock struck 2 p.m. And until 5 p.m., I could see myself constantly crying and weeping. I absolutely couldn't stop. There were constant thoughts, overthinking in circles and circles. It was all about, why am I this way? Why did I become this person? How did I fail throughout this journey? And here I am, still crying. The only emotions that I could feel at that time were anger, fear, guilt, anguish, and a lot of regret. I was in an absolute mess that I had gotten myself into. All I wanted to do is just go back home to my parents, just be in their safe environment, and once again stand up tall and strong. At now, it's about 4 p.m. And between 5 and 6, something very different happened. Something broke within me, and there it was. I could see the anger and the fear just exit my system. Something changed in me. I could feel a sense of peace and calmness at that time, something that I had not felt for the last 2 years. I had not smiled for the last 2 years. While it was 6 p.m. and the sun was about to set, and there was darkness that was going to start coming in, the same 6 p.m. brought a lot of brightness to my life. Going back to 2018. In 2018, while I was going through my career, being a successful psychologist, doing multiple workshops in organizations, and having my own personal practice, I always wanted to be a psychologist as a child. I had a keen interest in understanding the mind and behavior at a very young age. Coming from a conservative Jain Marwadi family, this was not the most easiest to do. However, my parents, being the most supportive that they are, they allowed me to carry on with my career. We are 4 sisters, and we've been brought up with an extremely secure environment. Not just that, we were encouraged for good quality education. We were given enough freedom, but at the same time, we were expected to get married and take care of households. But I had a different plan in mind. I didn't want to get married. I wanted to follow my passion. I wanted to pursue being a psychologist and create a difference for the society. I knew what I wanted to do at a very, very early age. But at the same time, my parents wanted something different. More than my parents, I think the society pressurizes parents to get their daughters married at an early age, and my parents were in the same situation. With the pressure of marriage, I saw myself slipping into depression. The symptoms of depression, one by one, kept on creeping in. Not just that, being a psychologist myself and knowing all the interventions, this wasn't the easiest. The constant questions that arised in my mind were, why am I going through this? I know what needs to be done, but I'm still not being able to do it. I felt like my hands were tied. I felt like I was in a cage, in a trap, in a dark hole, and I just couldn't get out from there. And then one fine day, I happened to have an allergy, and I had to visit an allergy doctor for a really long time. I happened to visit a doctor. He gave me the medication for my allergy, but at the same time also told me that this concern is pretty much psychosomatic and that your anxiety is aggravating this allergy. While he took all my detailed history, he also offered to be my guide thereafter. Back there at home, as things started getting intense, this guide came to my rescue every now and then, being my listening ear on a regular basis. He even talked me out of suicide at one point. Yes, I had suicidal thoughts. I am just as human as every other person is. Despite of having all the tools and techniques, I am just as human. To go ahead, since there was a lot happening at that time and I was constantly having my outbursts of cry, and due to his limitation of times, he introduced me to a spiritual organization, telling me probably you will get all your answers to the questions that you constantly have. Again, coming from a Jain family, gurus, teachers are given a lot of importance, and they've played a significant role in my life as a child because I always had a keen interest in the science of religion and spirituality. Once again, since I was introduced to this spiritual organization, I stepped in and I started becoming a part of the organization. I started meeting different people out there. Yet again, I was then constantly manipulated, slowly and gradually, making me think of how I had shamed my parents, how I had not lived up to their expectations, how I had become a person who was not good enough, a person who did not choose the right friends, and a person who actually didn't even look after her own self throughout. It was now time that each day I would wake up crying, only questioning my existence as a person. This went on for 1.5 years. The reason why it went on for 1.5 years, while my parents on one side kept telling me that somebody is constantly influencing you, the people in the organization always said, spirituality is a silent journey and thus you must not tell anybody of what really are you doing on a regular basis. Yes, this truly happens in a city like Mumbai. And while this went on for 1.5 years, it constantly kept breaking me down each day. This was not a spiritual organization, or rather, I would call it a dangerous cult. A cult that was actually only gaslighting each and every day, and there I was, a victim of gaslighting. Somebody who was questioning herself each and every day. The same girl who was once a Tedx speaker, somebody who has been a go-getter, someone who has been far and wide speaking every day on public forums, now couldn't even speak to a group of 3. And sometimes even questioned if she was one-on-one talking any sense. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. But then, going back to 2020, March, remember I told you, that day when I cried from 2 to 6, and at 6 p.m. something broke from me, that was the day when things changed. That was the day when I stood up. And that was the day I roared back again. To my rescue came lockdown. Though it was I think a pain for a lot of people and a difficult phase for a lot, but it came as a blessing of disguise for me. I was in minimum contact with the cult, and I spent maximum time with my family once again in my secure environment, which I really, really needed. Having gone through the whole process of depression, to moving to a doctor, a guide, to moving to a cult, where I thought that my symptoms of depression would slowly start getting some release, there I was in an even more difficult situation. But during the lockdown, all I did was spend my time at the window with the plants, with the sun, with the open sky and the stars shining bright. I journaled each and every day of the last 3 years and what had happened, why it had happened, and what did I do in the whole process. And let me tell you, journaling has power. It is a power-packed technique which can make you look at your life as an observer and help you unfold so many secrets on the journey. And while I was journaling, I realized that I had a very weak connection with multiple things around me. These could be my relationship with myself, my relationship with my friends and family, my relationship with the food that I eat on an everyday basis, and even my relationship with God or the Supreme Power. They were definitely weak. And as I kept journaling and spending my time with myself, I saw myself reconnecting with each of these elements. And there I came with another goal for myself. As I kept writing, I realized that I need to build a relationship with multiple things around me. And this goal was of writing a book about the 9 jewels of a happy life. Remember, I made you visualize the necklace with the jewels? This is exactly the 9 jewels I'm talking about. These adorn your life to make it more and more beautiful. These jewels add a lot of happiness and contentment to your life. These are the jewels that take you on the path of wellness and good health. What exactly are these jewels? These jewels are your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your body, your relationship with your food, your relationship with the nature around you, your relationship with your family and friends, your relationship with your significant romantic partner, your relationship with your work, your relationship with money, and your relationship with the Supreme Power or God. Each of these relationships have a unique space in your life. And the moment you start building a relationship with each of these elements, you see that you start reconnecting with that area of your life which you had not thought about. When we talk about relationships, we most often talk about people, family and friends, or your partner. We rarely talk about our relationship with any of the other elements that I just spoke about. And this whole journey of going through depression, leading it to the pressure of marriage, it leading to meeting a doctor, it moving to a cult, and then coming back to the lockdown. And here it is to a book called The 9 Jewels of Life. A journey to rediscovery, healing, and love. Thank you.